Good morning. Welcome to Kitsap Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whoever you are and wherever you come from, for this hour, we here are one gathered congregation and all are welcome. Please rise in body or spirit to join in singing our musical call to worship, For the Earth Forever Turning, hymn number 163 in our gray hymnal. My name is Kim Stewart, and I use she, her pronouns. I've been attending KUF since 2018 and lay leading for about a year. I have long hair, and I'm wearing a black shirt and a blue sweater. Our guest speaker this morning is Reverend Jennifer Alviar. Reverend Jennifer is an ordained UU minister whose unique call is to expand the welcome table of inclusion, hospitality, and liberation. She has spoken here before on accessibility. We talked about this our third time here. She's spoken here before on accessibility for neurodiverse individuals, and we are thrilled to have her back with us today. If you are visiting with us this morning, we invite you to participate as you feel comfortable. If you are here in person, we look forward to welcoming you after the service during our coffee hour. If you are attending online, please introduce yourself in the chat. For those of you here in the sanctuary, it's important to note that we regularly have 15 to 30 people attending online. There are 4 people online at my house this morning. So our community is much larger than those assembled here. Either way, in person or online, we are glad you're here. If you're here in the sanctuary this morning, please silence all of your electronic devices. Unless it's an insulin pump, leave that on. Right? Those of us that have one of those, let that beep. Yeah, we need that. Okay. The announcements are available in our weekly email newsletter, The Candle. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the Aboriginal territory of the Suquamish people. Expert fishermen, canoe builders, and basket weavers, the Suquamish live in harmony with the lands and waterways along Washington's central Salish Sea, as they have for thousands of years. Here, the Suquamish live and protect the lands and waters of their ancestors for future generations, as promised by the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be here. I'm Reverend Jennifer Alviar, And in our UU tradition, we're pretty informal. So I come unadorned with no capes, crowns, or wings, but I got a parking spot for minister. I was so delighted. Thank you. I have short blonde hair. I'm wearing a blue and white stole, teal blazer, and happy to be here with you. For the opening words, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite. It's an indigenous Ute prayer called Earth Teach Me. Earth, teach me stillness, as the grasses are stilled with light. Earth, teach me suffering, as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me humility, as blossoms are humble with beginning. Earth, teach me caring, as the mother who secures her young. Earth, teach me courage, as the tree which stands all alone. Earth, teach me limitation, as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me freedom, as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me resignation, as the leaves which die in the fall. Earth, teach me regeneration, as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself, as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness, as dry fields weep with rain.
We welcome Justin Connor to come up and light our chalice. Justin Connor started attending KUUF in 2023, is a member of the choir, and sometimes plays the violin for services. He grew up attending First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Duxbury, Massachusetts, a congregation that was founded in 1632 by William Brewster, Miles Standish, and other pilgrims who arrived on the Mayflower. He has also attended All Souls Unitarian Church in Washington, D.C., and the Unitarian Church in Charleston, South Carolina, during his time attending college, studying engineering, and working for the Navy. Join me now in lighting our chalice. If you have your own chalice or candle at home, please light it as I read our chalice lighting words. Nature by Beth Adote. Nature shares its beauty with unconditional generosity, and we begin to understand we are all connected, all necessary, all loved. Thank you. Please join me in the spoken affirmation. The words will appear on the screen. We gather as a caring community, seeking life's deeper meanings. We value diversity and affirm the worth of all living things. We strive to speak truth in justice, to act for justice, to grow in spirit, and to care for the earth. We celebrate with open hearts and minds the creative power that sustains and transforms us. That just goes to show you if you've done it hundreds of times and the autopilot malfunctions, right? So thank you all for carrying that for me. Our next hymn is Blue Boat Home, a new favorite here at KUUF. You'll find it at number 1064 in the teal hymnal. Please feel free to sing along with the KUUF choir, who will sing an arrangement by our own Mike Menifee. Please rise in body or in spirit to join in singing hymn 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Away.
What a beautiful performance and incredible arrangement. So thank you. Now, Elizabeth Roberts, member of our religious education team, will share our time for all ages.
Good morning. Last Sunday in April. My name's Liz Roberts, and I have short, dark hair. I wear glasses. I'm in my mid-50s. I'm saying that for a long time, by the way. And this morning I'm wearing a black dress with flowers. This year's overarching theme in Soul Matters is the gifts of our faith. And this month of April, we're exploring the gift of interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life, and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. Those are words from the new proposed Article 2. Last week, you might remember when I read with you, we explored the importance of caring for the earth and nature. Today, we're going to explore how our earth and the web of all creatures and creation actually takes care of us. So listen, please, as I read The Earth Gives More, written by Sue Flies and illustrated by Christiane Engel. The text is very simple in this picture book, so I want to invite you all, young and old, to be on the lookout for little creatures that the illustrator has tucked into each picture spread. The earth gives more. Feel the wind blow through your hair as you breathe the clean, fresh air. Run barefooted through the grass. Watch the clouds change as they pass. Swim the ocean, shape the sand, give the beach a helping hand, float, play, clear away. Still, the earth gives more. Leaves of green turn yellow, red, spin and swirl around your head. Scoop them all into a heap, get a running start, and leap. Spread the leaves to feed the grounds. Take in all of nature's sounds. Crunch and scatter, forest chatter. Still, the earth gives more. Stormy weather chills the air, bundle like a polar bear. Snowflakes ride the winter breeze, sail on sleds, and glide on skis. Fill the feeder on the tree, birds below watch patiently. Forage, wait, hibernate. Still, the earth gives more. Sunbeams stretch with all their might, share their power, warmth, and light. Hear the distant thunder crash, first a drizzle, then we splash. Raindrops fall and shoots push through, rise and bloom, begin anew. Shine, sow, shower, grow, still the earth gives more. Wish on stars in nighttime skies, welcome every new surprise. Do your part, use what you know, help the earth to thrive and grow. Guard the land and air and seas, what is left without all these? Love, respect, befriend, protect, so the earth gives more. Whisper now, what were some of the creatures you saw? Anyone see the little skunk and the little mouse? All right. Please rise in body or in spirit to sing the children on their way to class.
We gather as a religious community to give each one of us a place where we can do the work of many, Together, our light is much brighter than a solitary flame. Now is the time in our service when we share in the sacred act of giving, an expression of gratitude transformed into generosity that breathes life into our mission. As part of our mission that inspires us to act on our beliefs, we share our weekly offering with a local nonprofit agency providing services within our larger community. Our charitable giving recipient for the month of April is the South Kitsap Helpline. In a moment, our ushers will move among us with baskets to collect the offering. Donations placed in the basket will go to South Kitsap Helpline. If you would like your offering to be used for KUUF, please use one of the envelopes provided to you with your order of service when you came into the sanctuary. For those joining us online, you may go to our website, kuuf.org, and select the Giving tab for PayPal and mailing information. If this is your first time at KUUF, feel free to let the basket pass you by. Your presence is your gift. Let there be an offering to strengthen and sustain our beloved community, which is sacred to us. Let us enjoy a gift of music from our choir, directed by Alina Hemingway, accompanied by music coordinator Brian Kenny. Now is the time for our joys and sorrows. When shared together, our joys are amplified and our sorrows lessened. A sorrow. On April 24th, beloved KUUF member Marcy Mathis lost her partner of 20 years, Kel Williams, to cancer. We are keeping her in our hearts as she processes this painful loss. A joy from Bunny Starika. Their son Andy celebrated his 3rd birthday on April 19th, and we had a fun train party for him on Saturday the 27th. It has been a fun-filled week celebrating our energetic, funny little boy. Happy birthday, Andy. Bonner's joy is that he came straight from a weekend-long NA retreat at Camp Indianola with 85 of his nearest and dearest. He feels deeply recharged and somehow in spite of also being sleep deprived. So. Marcia and Glenn Kristen. Their joy is that our daughter Emma had her baby Isla, Miriam, on Thursday, April 25th at 4:13 a.m., and all are well. And we light one last candle for those joys and sorrows that are still too tender to share. Please join me in a moment of prayer or intention. Let us join our hearts and minds in the quiet of meditation and prayer with these words by Judith Quarles. How shall we pray? First, let us be open to the silence. Let us hear the sounds in the room, the noises outside, and the comfortable murmur from the children. Let us begin to hear the soft beating of our hearts, and let us listen intently for messages from within. Next, let us feel gratitude for our lives and for our beautiful earth. As hard as life gets, as sad or lonely as we sometimes feel, let us always be warmed by the gifts of this life. Next, let us hold in our hearts all those known or unknown who are in need. May we find in ourselves the energy and knowledge to bring care to the world. And finally, let us be aware of the blessing that is not ours alone to do the work of the world. Love and community work wonders that we by ourselves could never manage. In this time of silence, let us form our own prayers out of the concerns of our hearts. Amen. Please remain seated as we sing Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in our gray hymnal. The words will appear on your screen.
Spirit of life, heart, and soul, thank you for people's prayers and sharing and beautiful music. For this reading, this is by Thomas Berry. We see quite clearly what happens to the non-human happens to the human. What happens to the outer world happens to the inner world. If the outer world is diminished in its grandeur, then the emotional, imaginative, and the intellectual, spiritual life of the human is diminished or extinguished. Without the soaring birds, the great forest, the sounds and coloration of the insects, the free-flowing streams and the flowering fields, the sight of the clouds by day and the stars by night, we become impoverished in all that makes us human. Beautiful, thank you. Well, as we celebrate and honor Earth, I wish to share with you a story grounded in the natural world. In April 2021, I embarked on a year-long eco-theology certificate program called Seminary of the Wild Earth. Its purpose was designed to engage us in rewilding what has been tamed and domesticated in ecology and religion, as well as in our own psyches. Let me unpack this a bit for you. Imagine yourself becoming an apprentice to nature. The natural world is your guide, imbued with innate knowledge and wisdom. You are a learner with a beginner's mind, open and receptive to learn and grow from a posture of humility. Do you feel the refreshing invitation that this apprenticeship model offers? As an apprentice, you are not assuming mastery and control over the natural world. Instead, you are honoring the earth's wisdom and recognizing your inherent part in connection to, rather than separation from, nature and its ecosystems. This rewilding process, however, is anything but graceful. Humans are bumpy, awkward, meddling beings. We like to be in control, assert our control. History is filled with such examples, which has brought us to today's climate crisis. So how do we proceed? How do we conduct ourselves? How do we enact environmental social change? What I will share with you today is my apprenticeship journey with the natural world through the lens of imagery and storytelling. I will also highlight how each of the 4 seasons has shaped my unfolding experience and relationship with nature and its impact on my faith. And we sang with the 4 seasons and the elements. It's beautiful. So like any relationship, it takes time to get acquainted, build trust, and find one's rhythm with nature. Yet I couldn't imagine a better season than spring for new beginnings, new budding possibilities, new birth, and new life. So I stepped out of my home early one spring morning and meandered along a wooded path leading towards Lake Washington. Mount Rainier must have sensed my hopeful and somewhat tentative, shy demeanor because her landscape graciously mirrored my mood and intent. She greeted me with calm water and soft lighting. I felt soothed and eased by her gentleness. Next, I found myself before a stump with moss, ferns, and ivy growing out of her trunk. I peered around the corner and noticed her roots pulled up from the earth. I recalled that fallen trees are often referred to as nurse logs. According to an environmental site called American Forests, nurse logs provide ecological facilitation as they decay, offering seedlings shade, nutrients, water, and protection from disease, making way for new generations. I marveled at this nurse log's gift of generativity and unique transformation. Further down my path, I came to a shallow, pebble-strewn alcove nestled between 2 shrubs. I chose this intimate, watery habitat as my daily meditation sit spot. It is here where I welcomed each morning over my year-long program. As I gradually rose, prepared to return home, I heard a light ringing of what sounded like wind chimes. I followed the sound, peered around the corner, and smiled at the sight. The tinkling sound came from a marina full of boats. They rang like an outdoor cathedral. Perhaps a blessing of the bells. This communing with nature is a funny sort of thing. Everything is right there before us. The marina's outdoor cathedral. The nurse log's gift of generativity and transformation. Mystery itself isn't so much hidden and secretive. It's just that Western civilization has conditioned us to believe that we are separate from nature rather than intimately connected with nature. Consequently, we have not learned to attune our senses to the natural world and read her landscapes and language and wisdom and beauty. This is the work of repairing and healing this artificial human-nature divide that is harming our environment due to our lack of awareness, resulting in our lack of accountability. Spring gave way to summer, and summer greeted me with her sheer beauty and boldness. Mount Rainier's white, snow-capped peaks shone brilliantly against the deep blue, cloudless sky. Magenta sweet peas grew wild among the banks of the lake. I felt a longing stir inside me. In order for me to embody a wilder theology, I wanted to experience a more direct connection with water as my guide. Not just dipping my toes on the banks of the lake, but actually feeling my body contained in a boat on the water with her wild currents moving just beneath me. A blue boat home in song, body, and movement. What a beautiful sacred threshold experience that would be, I could imagine. And fortunately, an opportunity arose that summer, turning that longing into a wild calling. My mother invited our whole family to canoe down the Missouri River in Montana in partnership with an active engagement with a conservation organization called American Prairie, located in Bozeman, Montana. This environmental organization's mission is to create the largest nature preserve in the contiguous United States, a refuge for people and wildlife preserved forever as part of America's heritage. Here is a photo of our whole family standing on the prairie with the Missouri River behind us. And here is a photo of my immediate family with my husband, Christopher, and our daughter, Madeline. Below are a few more highlights of river and rock formations. From a theological perspective, every angle I witnessed evoked to me an awareness of life's impermanence. This landscape of seemingly solid rock belies the realities of erosion. It is a landscape etched and sculpted by wind, sand, water, and time. Experiencing this landscape reminded me of the Eastern philosophy of Taoism. Stephen Mitchell, one of the many translators of the Tao Te Ching, wrote these words: "Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid." Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. What a challenge set before us all. How do we put into practice, with humility and awareness, the erosion of climate change? I held this visual landscape in my mind's eye, accompanied by its ecological heartache. For 3 days, I paddled down the river. Some days I paddled as many as 21 miles down the river. I spent this time listening, observing, pondering. I felt my way through these penetrating questions against Montana's big sky country. This embodied experience helped me cultivate an intimate relationship with water. It moved me into an interior space where I experienced beauty, longing, grief, and love all at once. Summer gave way to autumn. I returned home feeling inspired and engaged and curious. I wanted to embody the lessons I learned from Montana's river trip and adapt it to my own local habitat. In my case, I live on the traditional land of the Duwamish people in Seattle, Washington. Therefore, Cascadia is my bioregion, and Cedar River is my watershed. Early one morning at sunrise, I spotted a team of rowers along Lake Washington. Once again, I experienced the wild calling to connect more directly to water with a kind of intimacy that I felt while canoeing down the Missouri River. I followed the direction of the boats to see where it might lead. This path led me to Mount Baker Rowing and Sailing Center. Intrigued and inspired, I decided to join the local community crew team for introductory rowing lessons. This is a photo of some of my crew team members. I'm 5'3". People were head and shoulders above me, but it was a wonderful collective community experience. And here are a few rowing highlights. I can't exactly see what you're seeing, but there's the blue of the rising of the morning, and then the moon, which reminds me of Starry, Starry Night of Van Gogh. It had just a glow to it. And then there's a pink, I'm just guessing, a pink sunrise. I am now 6 months into my year-long eco-theology program with Seminary of the Wild Earth. This marks a true liminal threshold. Given my nature-based experiential encounters with Montana's canoe trip and Mount Baker's crew team, I paused to reflect on this question. I wondered, have these experiences made me feel more connected with nature rather than separate from it? And do I feel more grounded and embodied in my theology as a result of my relationship with the natural world? I checked in with my body and noticed something surprising and disturbing. The more intimately engaged and connected I felt with the natural world, simultaneously, I felt more unsettled, off-center. This sense of disequilibrium is further heightened by devastating climate change and mourning the loss of our biodiversity. I paused and felt my way into this tension between grief and loss on the one hand, and love and tenderness on the other, holding the both and. I found myself drawn to explore this question within my own context as a woman, mother, and female religious leader. I reflected on a passage from nature writer Terry Tempest Williams in her book, Erosion. Whatever I know as a woman about spirituality, I have learned from my body encountering earth. Soul and soil are not separate. Neither are wind and spirit, nor water and tears. We are eroding and evolving at once, like the red rock landscape before me. Our grief is our love. Our love will be our undoing. How do I hold in tandem both grief and love in a way that does not completely undo me? I tried approaching this question from a different angle. Aren't some of life's sorrows so deeply wounding that we are ultimately unraveled and undone? Yet, when I read Francis Weller's book, The Wild Edge of Sorrow, he affirmed a similar sense of integration, healing, and wholeness around sorrow. Grief and love are sisters, woven together from the beginning. Their kinship reminds us that there is no love that does not contain loss, and no loss that is not a reminder of the love we carry for what we once held close. Maybe this undoing is a good thing after all. This erosion of landscape and soulscape, physical and emotional, keeps us humble, grounded, and connected to nature's wisdom. If we are willing to be broken open and reshaped by the contours of life's wild edges, then perhaps we are capable, in the words of Walt Whitman, to contain multitudes. Autumn gave way to winter. Now, as I entered my fourth season, I had come to respect and honor the rhythms, seasons, and cycles of life. This process deepened my understanding of the inextricable connection between grief and love. But nothing prepared me for what would come next. In early December, my cohort member and friend, Diane, shared devastating family news. Her 28-year-old son, Cameron, died from a tragic rock climbing accident. I felt grief-stricken, numb, and at a loss for words. Yet Diane, a newly bereaved mother, found the words she needed to express her grief. She wrote a poem early in the morning on Christmas. It was that day that she titled Christmas Dawn. Stories of old speak of a baby boy born this day to show us how to live and love. Another baby boy was also born to show me how to live and love. They both were taken from this world, not after a long life, but in their prime. We could not have known how these tragedies would change our world and break our hearts. Life is never more precious than when it is paired with death. To die to our expectations is to truly live. Fear not. Live in love, knowing our hearts will break, then love again. The day after Christmas, December 26th, Seattle greeted us with a white winter. The world felt soft and still in its thick blanket of snow. I contemplated Diane's poem, especially these two lines. Life is never more precious than when it is paired with death. To die to our expectations is to truly live. I carried her words with me as I stepped outside and began walking in the freshly fallen snow. Instinctively, I placed my gloved hand on the snow-covered nurse log as a way to connect my human body with nature's touch. This nurse log once lived the life of a towering, majestic tree. Some form of death befell her, and yet she continued to birth new life in her altered form. Transformation is possible even in the face of death. Next, I crossed the snow-covered bridge through the woods that opened out onto the hillside and lake. When I reached my meditation sit spot, I beheld a spectacular sculpture of ice crystals with a bird flying over a cloudy sky. As I shifted my gaze and body posture towards a different angle, with different lighting, blue sky appeared. The ice crystals seemed to dance with the branches' graceful curves encased in ice and sunshine. Finally, I reached the marina. The boats greeted me with their tinkling sound of bells ringing from their outdoor cathedral. Light, gentle, and soothing. And there, in that moment of lightness, I recalled a poem by Jared Anderson highlighting life's changing forms, yet enduring essence. The water in your body is just visiting. It was a thunderstorm a week ago. It will be the ocean soon enough. Most of your cells come and go like morning dew. We are more weather pattern than stone monument. Sunlight on mist, summer lightning, your choices outweigh your substance. This year-long eco-theology program has made me rethink the meaning of the word faith. So often, we associate faith with something solid, as in, this is the bedrock of my faith. This is the cornerstone of my belief. A solid, unshakable faith. Yet my experience, canoeing down the Missouri River, reflected a much more fluid, nuanced existence. This watery habitat reminded me that nothing is as solid as it seems. We're all shapeshifters whose identities are more permeable than we realize or might care to admit. There is a wild edge here, but this wild, untamed element of water and movement and fluidity is what makes me feel most alive. What is often asked of religion is this: what do you believe in? What is frequently expected is some form of a creed-based response. However, I don't believe that this traditional Q&A gets to the heart of what truly matters. Instead, I propose reframing the question in these words: what do you pay attention to? Specifically, what nature-based practices do you engage in to help you remember and honor your innate belonging to the earth and creation? How do you attune your senses to read nature's landscapes and language, leading to greater awareness and accountability towards caring for the environment? Life is dynamic, not static. As Mary Oliver expressed it so beautifully in her poem, A Summer's Day, I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention. Traveling these 4 seasons of nature and faith has affirmed for me this truth. Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu was right. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. May we stay soft and flexible in caring for the earth as well as caring for each other. And in the face of ecological heartache, may water's wisdom remind us that we contain multitudes. We are more fluid and permeable than we realize. Grief and love will test our wild edges. But if we humbly yield to water's currents, then we will be blessed by its rewilding nature, transforming our tamed, domesticated selves into our grace-filled, wild selves. This is my prayer. May it be so. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Blessed be. And now, please join me in our closing hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Oh
You may have a seat. I have a long announcement, so let's get going. We hope you have noticed our new chairs with arms in our sanctuary and read about their purpose. The Accessibility Committee, the KUF Board, and Chalice Circle Number 5 arranged to add these chairs to provide help for people with physical challenges, those who need the arms to push themselves up, or those who need a little more space. Please honor the needs of people in our community who need them, as you honor the parking spaces in the lower lot for people with mobility needs. Thank you to all in our beloved community. After the service is over today, please exit through the foyer. Coffee, tea, and an end-of-the-month potluck goodies will be served in the foyer. You are welcome to bring your beverage and snacks back into the sanctuary if you wish. And as this begins, if you'd like to help set up chairs and tables in the sanctuary, you're welcome to join the group. Now I'll read our closing words. Oh, that's you. Never mind.
I'm not getting any taller here. This is a wonderful word from Howard Thurman, who says it's called The Growing Edge. Look well to the growing edge. All around us, worlds are dying and new worlds are being born. All around us, life is dying and life is being born. The fruit ripens on the tree. The roots are silently at work in the darkness, in the earth, against a time when there shall be new leaves, fresh blossoms, green fruit. Such is the growing edge. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.